You're live.
I'm live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cook With Me segment is back. So if you are new here, I used to do this all the time. I used to come on and cook live. And then, I don't know, I just stopped. So I'm back. So every Monday at 5:30 Pacific time, you can find me here. And if you have been following me on stories, I put up a couple options of dishes to cook tonight. And you guys all selected the sheet pan miso spice salmon, which is literally one of my favorite dishes. So I'm super excited. So we're gonna get started on that right now. So first off, it's a really easy dish. It's literally like a sheet pan under the broiler. Normally I do really like to cook my salmon low and slow, but there's something about the really beautiful char that it gets when you put it under the broiler, and then the inside is a perfect medium rare. It's so good. So we're gonna start with making the marinade first. Normally I would let the salmon sit in the marinade for like 30 minutes, even up to an hour, but obviously this is live and we're not gonna be hanging out that long because I know you all have dinner to get to. So we're gonna do a quick marinade. So first we're gonna do the garlic. So I'm just gonna chop up some garlic. I've got my, someone wants to play. Not right now, I'm actually live right now, Chloe. I don't think she understands. All right, so I'm just going to chop up. You want to mince the garlic pretty well because it's gonna go in your marinade. And Chloe wants to play with us. So make sure you always have your garbage bowl because that way you don't have to make 1,000 trips to the trash can. Unless you were lucky, I know some people have like a kitchen island with a trash can, like the trash built in. So if that's you, fantastic. Okay, so a quick little tip about garlic. You want to put the garlic on your board and then just take your knife with the blade away from you, heel of your palm, and then just press down. And it peels off really quickly. You don't need to maintain like pretty cloves because they're gonna get all chopped up anyway. So that's a really easy way and a quick way to get the garlic ready. So we're gonna chop this up. You guys are all having a really good Monday. This is a really good recipe. I love this. I was so excited when you guys picked this. The other choice was Sloppy Joe, which is also a really good recipe too. And I can make like on another Monday. I know Sloppy Joe's tends to be more kind of like a hearty, like you think about like a cold winter's night or like a cold autumn day. But I make Sloppy Joe's in the summertime too. They're so good, it's so easy. All right, but we're not making Sloppy Joe's. We're doing the miso marinated sheet pan salmon. Oh yeah, I forgot to pin it. Did you know how to pin, Lekka? Do you know how to write down in the comments what we're making?
Oh, I can comment.
You can comment and just put sheet pan miso spiced salmon, and then people will know what we're. I've got my wonderful assistant here that I'm going to be taking advantage of on these lives, hopefully, at least until she leaves for college in the fall. Okay, so you want to mince it up really well. If you have a garlic mincer, you can use a garlic mincer. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Cosette's Kitchen. Cosette is an amazing Lebanese chef, cook, home cook. She's amazing. And I love making her toum, which is a Lebanese garlic spread. And I use that in this as well. But this is minced garlic, so we're just gonna get this all nice and minced up really well. There we go. So you want it pretty small because, like I said, it'll be in the marinade. All right. So this is, I'm bring the camera, there we go. So you want it pretty minced like that. And I had 3 medium cloves. If you like a lot of garlic, you can use a couple like really big, large cloves. And then we're gonna also cut up a shallot. And then we're gonna add the other parts of the marinade is going to be soy sauce, honey, and miso. So it has a really wonderful Asian flavor to it. So when it comes to shallot, you wanna take the paper off. And this little guy is going to divide into 2. So I am not gonna use this little small one, I'm just gonna use the big one. And an easy way, I'm just gonna get a paper towel. I'm gonna show you guys a really easy way, garlic on my hands, to chop up shallots. So just clean our knife a little bit, spot a little bit here. There we go. Okay, so you want to put your hand flat, and then you're just going to slice straight through, but not all the way to the end. not all the way to the end. It's very similar to how you would slice an onion. So you want to just go right almost to the end. Then you're going to make horizontal cuts, basically as wide as you want the little pieces to be when you chop it. And then you're going to chop it. And it's so much easier to do this. And you always want to use like a rocking motion. Here's like a little knife tip too. When you're holding your knife, you want to wrap your pinky, whatever this finger's called, your middle finger, around the blade. And then you want to pinch the blade, and that gives you really good control. And you don't want to ever lift your knife. You don't want to be doing any of this. You always want your point, it's a rocking motion. So you don't want your knife to ever leave the board when you're doing this. The only time it leaves the board is if you want to run through your knife. You always want to put your knife, if you're scooping everything back together, you want your knife at like a 45-degree angle because you don't destroy your blade. So you don't want to ever like scrape your knife against the board. You always want like a little 45-degree angle. You can also use a bench scraper. And then again, see, your tip never leaves. We'll just run it through here. This honestly is what will take the longest, is chopping the shallots and the garlic, which if I wasn't talking to you guys, takes a little less time. It's really, really quick. And you can even chop all of this ahead of time, and then that way it's just ready to be assembled. Alrighty, so we're gonna do the shallots in there. We've got some lime juice going in too. I'm just gonna double check the measurements. Okay, so now we've got 3 tablespoons of lime juice. So the trick to get maximum juice out of your lime is you wanna roll it on your board. And you also, when you go to the store to buy limes, you wanna buy, the same thing goes for lemons. You wanna buy limes that feel heavy. You don't want, if you pick up a lime and it feels like air, it's not gonna have a whole lot of juice in it. And the same holds for lemons. When you pick up a lemon in the store, farmer's market, wherever you buy your lemons, you want it to feel hefty, you want it to feel heavy, and then you know it's full of juice. And with lemons too, you do the same thing. So you wanna roll it a little bit on your board, and just put it in here. And because it's a marinade, you can be a little loosey-goosey with the measurements. So you can also do like a squeezer. I think usually 3 tablespoons is usually a whole lime, depending on how juicy it is. Or actually, this is gonna be a half lime. This is a really juicy lime. Okay, so this was about half a lime. So depending on how juicy your lime is, it's either a half a lime or a whole full lime. And that goes into the garbage bag. And we've got 2 tablespoons of soy sauce we're gonna mix in. You can use gluten-free as well, low sodium. And you're gonna do a teaspoon of honey. And then last but not least, we'll do the miso. And the honey adds a little bit of sweetness, which is really nice. Oops. And then you can kind of make a little bit of basil on the counter. And I love this honey. I love this raw honey. I bought this at, I think, QFC. I'm up in the Pacific Northwest. I know QFC has it. I know Metropolitan Market has it. I've seen it at PCC. It's a really lovely honey. And then I go through miso all the time. This is actually a new one. I'm very excited to open up a new package. So white miso is fermented soybeans that's mixed with a kind of grain as well. And white miso is a lighter flavored miso versus red, or there's like black sesame. I think there's over like 1,700 kinds of miso. So white miso is really lovely for marinades because it has a lighter flavor. And it's also really good for miso soup. If you want miso soup, you just mix a couple tablespoons, maybe 3 tablespoons, depending on how much soup you're making, into some homemade chicken broth or homemade veggie broth. It's so good. I'm just gonna double check. I think we do, yeah, 1 tablespoon. And this also is really easily doubled as well. And miso adds that really wonderful umami taste, which is, umami is like that dark kind of smoky flavor, like a mushroom. It's very earthy. I guess not smoky, it's more earthy flavored. It's so good. Alrighty, I'm gonna go rinse my fingers off after I do this. Okay, so, and then we're gonna do, I think that's it. Yeah, we've got the garlic shallot, lime juice, soy sauce, miso, honey, olive oil. Let's forget something. And a tablespoon of olive oil. I love putting my California olive oil in this one because it's so easy. Okay, so got my dish. You can also do this in a Ziploc bag. Like I said, this is a really easy recipe to double as well. And just mix it up. So it's going to be kind of a thick dressing. So you can see it's a thick marinade. The miso really thickens it up nicely. And we're going to use half of this to marinate the salmon, and then the other half, so we'll marinate with half, set this aside, get to work on the broccolini, get the broccolini nice and charred, and then the salmon sits on top of the broccolini. We spoon more of the miso over it, and then it goes back on, so it's kind of a layered effect. So good. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask away.
Greenleaf Barbecue said that the honey is amazing.
Oh, you've had this kind of honey? You've had the same honey? Isn't it good? Oh my gosh, it's really good. All right, I'm just gonna take a spoon. There we go. I think I might put a little bit more on it. Put a little bit more. Oops. There we go, just put a little bit more. About half. Don't wanna, one time I was in a rush and I put all the marinade at once on the salmon, so I had to make another batch, and I have to say, it was really good. So, you know, if you do all of this to marinate the salmon, just make some more. I would make the exact same amount to put on the salmon after, when you put it on top of the broccolini. That'll make more sense, I think, when it starts cooking. Okay, salmon is done. We're gonna set it aside. Put this over here. We're gonna rinse my hands. And if you're watching the replay, I'm gonna be doing this every Monday at 5:30, cooking something from the blog. So this recipe is on the blog, on the website, at menuforyou.com. Just search sheet pan salmon. I'm done with all of this. I'm just gonna do a little cleanup. It definitely helps when you're cooking to clean up as you go. That way you don't leave a big mess. Smell my broilers on. Then you don't leave a big mess for when you're all done. So I'm just gonna clean the board off because I'm gonna prep the broccolini. Because yeah, it's important to clean as you go, because it definitely is less overwhelming when you're done cooking. And then if you look behind you and you're like, oh my gosh, look at that big mess I have to clean up now. So, all right. Alrighty. You're back. So now we will prep broccoli. So you just want a sheet pan, super easy. You can also, if you don't like broccolini, you can do asparagus. You can do a combination. You can do broccolini, you can do asparagus, you can do zucchini. Just make sure that, just make sure that the vegetables you're using all cook about the same amount of time. So like broccolini, asparagus, zucchini would all cook about the same time. If you want to do sweet potatoes, I would put those on first because sweet potatoes definitely take longer. I'm trying to think what other vegetables take longer. Cauliflower, broccoli actually take longer. So if you want to cook with those, you certainly can. Use whatever vegetables you like. And actually use whatever vegetables are in your fridge. I like to cut the ends off of the broccolini. And then we're just going to toss it, spread it on the pan. This is, oh my gosh, look at how gorgeous this is. Isn't that pretty? Broccoli is like that. These are huge broccolini, oh my gosh. Okay, so I did wash them, so we're just gonna damp. There we go. All right, so a good couple tablespoons of olive oil. And then you want a good generous sprinkling of salt and pepper. And we're gonna put these under the broiler. You want them to just start to char. So my broiler is like a broiler on steroids. It is a very strong broiler. So mine, they're usually done, honestly, or not done. They're usually partially charred in about 3 minutes. But check your time, take your hands, just kind of make sure they're all nicely incorporated. The flavor's gonna come from the marinade. So this is just to kind of get them charred. So like I was saying, I like to put my rack down either halfway or like the next level up. So it's in like the top quarter of your oven. You don't want it to be like right underneath the broiler. You want a couple inches space between the broiler and your sheet pan because you don't want everything to burn. So, alrighty. Okay, I think this is good. I'm trying to spread them out so they all char evenly. And these will make a nice little bed for our salmon. Okay, so in they go. And while they're in, I can answer any questions. So you can see like where my pan is. So the broiler's up there. See? And I could move them down one, so we'll kind of keep an eye on them. I don't like to close my broiler door. Alrighty. And literally dinner is almost done because this dinner from start to finish, maybe like 15 minutes. And like I said earlier, I do really like to cook my salmon low and slow. A lot of times I'll cook it at 225, 250 for like half hour, 40 minutes, and then it gets this beautiful, buttery, gorgeous texture to it. But for this, the char on top, so good. It just makes it so delicious. And it still it remains really tender because you're literally just broiling it for like maybe 5 minutes. So the worst thing you can do is overcook fish. So I always err on undercooking it. You're gonna get that gorgeous char on top. It's gonna be medium inside, all buttery and gorgeous. Yeah, it'll be perfect. So any questions? I'm gonna leave the lime out and just throw this away. I think we're kind of, and then look, like we hardly have any dishes to clean up. Like, how amazing is that, right?
What's your favorite kind of salmon?
I am addicted to Icelandic salmon right now, which is, now, before I say this, hear me out. I love fresh caught salmon, but Icelandic salmon is farmed in Iceland, and they have created this whole beautiful system, this ecosystem of ecologically, environmentally friendly farming. It is so good. But that being said, you could also do this with, oh, you can hear it sizzling. Not quite charred yet, but you can smell it too. You always want to use your nose in the kitchen. Oh my gosh, and that smells so good. But if you're not a salmon fan, you could also easily do this with halibut. You could do this with cod. You want to do it with a heartier fish. Like I don't think sole wouldn't be good. You don't want to do it with too delicate of a fish because it'll just kind of fall apart. But yeah, halibut would do really well. Cod would do really well. Swordfish would do really well. So anything that's kind of a heftier fish would be really good. All right, keep the questions coming. I love that. Alrighty, let's do a little check again. Because all of a sudden, the broiler is such a funny thing. All of a sudden, like, oops, it'll be going, cooking, and it'll be like, okay, I'm ready. Just like when you toast bread. Like I love to toast bread for baguettes and for bruschetta like this in under the broiler, but you have to keep such an eye because it can seem like nothing's happening, and all of a sudden like you snap your fingers and it's totally golden brown. So remember, we're just not quite there yet. We're just looking to get it charred. And the great thing about broccolini is it tastes really good when it's charred. Don't be afraid of cooking vegetables until they get color on it. I feel like sometimes we can back off cooking too much because we're worried that we're gonna burn something. But roasting vegetables at high heat is the best way to coax so much flavor out of your veggies. So I love to roast my vegetables at like 450 for like 10-15 minutes. They get really charred, tons of flavor, so much flavor. Let's see, I think we're almost, oops, we're getting there. You can see just a little bit. See, there's a little tiny bit. So I think we're almost. Someone the other day too asked me like what spices I like. Should we talk spices?
Yeah.
While we're waiting for the broccolini? All right, so, okay. You guys hear me talk about za'atar all the time. Love it. I do it on roasted vegetables, I do it on meat, I do it on chicken, I do it in hummus. It is so good. And this one I love. Yeah, Curio Spice Company is a really fabulous, curiospiceco.com, I think is their website. I could put a link below in the comments. The most amazing spices, so flavorful, really high quality. It's really important to spend money on your spices because it definitely matters. You're gonna get more flavor with a high quality spice. And I highly recommend buying online or buying in bulk, because when you go to the grocery store, you have no idea how long those dried spices have been hanging out on the store shelves. Which brings me to clean out your spice cabinet. It's a really good idea to clean it out. Okay, this is a little messy because someone who shall go unnamed never puts things back where they go. This is another really, you know, if you've been here for a while or for a hot minute, you know I love salt. This salt is amazing, also from Curious Spice. And like, how cute is their packaging? Is like so cute and really high quality. So you do want to go through and clean out your spices. This, oh my gosh. So the Bollywood Trading Company is what it's called. Yeah, the Bollywood Theater, actually. It's in Portland. Really good. And their spices are amazing. I love their garam masala. I have their tikka masala. I have their vindaloo masala. Is really good. I'm almost out, actually. I need to order some more. So those are just some spices I use. I'm going to make sure that we're not... Okay, so see, we're just starting. I'm going to let it go just for another minute. I don't know if actually this is in 5 minutes. I was going to set my Amazon. I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to set yours all off. I was going to set my Amazon timer gizmo thing. I didn't want to set yours all off too. I was going to also show you, oh, I love Aleppo. I actually just ordered, this I bought from Sonoma, Aleppo Chili, but I just ordered some more from the Spice Market. So, love Aleppo Chili. This is really good on, I put this a lot on vegetables. I put this on meat. I've done this on fish, potatoes. Really good when you're roasting potatoes. So much flavor. There are so many great spices out there that get you tons of flavor. Okay, and speaking of tons of flavor, I wish you guys could smell this. It smells so good.
It's really yummy.
Doesn't it smell good? Alrighty. I'm trying to think of what other spice to show you. Oh, I know. Hold the phone. I'm gonna go over to my messy desk. Okay, so I'm excited to show you guys saffron, one of the most amazing spices, and this is from Peace and Plenty Farm. They are in California. They're a saffron farm. They're actually the largest saffron grower in North America. And I had the amazing pleasure of speaking with Melinda for an episode of Foodies Across the Pond, which is my YouTube channel. So it's the channel that I have with Jane of Myrtle's Kitchen. I think see how they're starting to get a little blackened, a little blistered. We've got a little brown going on. Now it is time to pull them. And we're gonna add the salmon. So Jane of Myrtle's Kitchen, I have I'm just gonna get a spatula. Thank you. Perfect, thanks. We have a YouTube channel, Foodies Across the Pond, and so I interviewed Melinda. Oh my gosh, I learned so much. Whoop. Okay, thank goodness that wasn't there we go. That could have gone awry very, very quickly. Okay, and so now, just add a little bit more of the marinade to the top. Let's see, okay. So yeah, so now you're not gonna use all of this. So basically you divide the marinade in thirds. So a third gets marinated with the salmon, and then you're doing another third over the top. And we're going to put this under the broiler. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. Don't forget my mitt. So this goes into the broiler, probably for like about 7 minutes. Because it's a pretty thick, so you can see that it's a pretty thick steak. I'm not steak, a filet. There we go. All right, I am gonna set my timer for this because I don't wanna overcook the salmon. Alexa, set timer for 6 minutes.
6 minutes, starting now.
So yeah, so those are some of the fun spices I love to cook with. Flavor is so easy to get when you're using spices. So I would definitely highly recommend checking your cupboards. If you don't remember the last time you used a spice, toss it out. And like for example, if you have saffron and you haven't used it, it's gone. Toss it out and use it. Saffron is so beautiful. You can use it in so many different things. You can make a saffron aioli, you can do saffron risotto, you can do paella, so many really good things. So regardless of what spices you've got going on, see where you are. Dump the ones that you've had for a long time. Go buy new ones. Any other questions?
About your cooking class. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, I should talk about my cook. Thank you, Lecco. Okay, so Friday, guys. I'm so excited. It's like a virtual trip to Italy. So if you are dying to go to Italy, if you miss traveling to Italy, come to the cooking class on Friday. I'm doing an Italian appetizer and wine tasting class, and I am so excited. We're cooking Italian appetizers, and they're good ones. Fried olives, croquettes in a zucchini sauce. If you don't know what croquettes are, they are basically a fried mashed potato ball, like bite size. Insanely delicious. There's Parmesan crisps with prosciutto and microgreens, and I'm doing bruschetta two ways. So there's a bruschetta with soppressata, salami, which is a beautiful salami. We're doing some ricotta, as well as a bruschetta with eggplant caponata, which is roasted eggplant that then gets sauteed with capers and red wine vinegar and tomatoes and onions until they get all caramelized and create this almost like eggplant tomatoey kind of jam. It's like so good. So that's what we're doing in the first half of the class. And then the second half of the class, my friend Renee from Wines by Renee is going to join us. And she's picked wines, which if you sign up for the class, you'll get the wines ahead of time so you know which ones to buy. So she has selected wines specifically to go with each recipe we're cooking. And she's going to walk us through why she picked the wines, why they go so well with the food, why wines do go well with certain kinds of foods. So if you love wine, if you want to learn more about wine, if you want to have something really fun to look forward to at the end of your week, or if you know someone that would love the cooking class, the link is in my bio. Sign up, you can DM me if you have any questions. What you get beforehand, you'll get the grocery list and all the recipes. You'll also get a prep list. Then afterwards, you will get the replay. You'll have forever access to the replay. You'll also get an e-cookbook with the recipes as well as notes from the class. And as a special little bonus, you will also get 30 days, a whole month free in Mini Masters, which is my recipe and meal planning membership, which gives you weekly menus, weekly recipes. There's a private Facebook group, all sorts of goodness. So that's this Friday, which is super exciting and I can't wait. So I hope you come join. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I did have a couple questions about whether I'm going to be doing repeat classes. Not yet. Whether I'm going to be doing replays. The only way you get a replay of the class is if you buy a virtual ticket to the class. So yeah, that's the scoop. Oh my gosh. Look at that. It's starting. Okay, so you can see, look at how it's starting to look opaque. Okay, so this does not actually have much longer to go. So I will show you. Oops, I don't want to close that. And it's been 4 minutes. So my broiler is a very aggressive broiler. So your broiler might take a little bit longer. If it looks like your salmon or whatever fish you're using is browning and charring too quickly, then just move the rack down one because that's an easy fix. And I'll show you how, oh my gosh, look at that. The char is coming. The char is coming. Okay, so you want a knife to go easily right into the salmon. So I can tell that it's meeting with some resistance. So it's not quite done yet, it's still raw in the middle. So we'll go put this back in. But you can tell it's getting close because you can see it's turning, it's opaque versus that really bright pink it was in the beginning. And then look at that gorgeous. And this is not burnt, this is charred. And that's tons of flavor. Right there, my friends. Okay, so we'll just keep that going and probably we'll be done. Got like a minute 30, a little less than that left on my timer. So yeah, I'm trying to think what other things to talk to you guys about. I will be going live here tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time with Renee. We're gonna be drinking some rosé, talking about rosé, which as you know, it's like my favorite wine to drink, especially when the weather is warm, which we've had such nice weather up here. And it's like turned cloudy. I know my daughter loves this kind of weather, but it's been so nice and sunny and it makes me sad. The weather's not quite cooperating. I want the sunshine to come back again. So, but I'll be drinking rosé tomorrow. Okay, look at that gorgeous char. Look how pretty that is. If you guys could smell this, take this out. All right, I'm just gonna see. Yep, no, it's still a couple more minutes. It's getting there though. And, okay, so so what you can do too is, these broccolini are looking done. So I'm just gonna take off the ones that are looking done. These guys are nice and crispy. They're gonna be so crispy and good. Oops. Take these off, let them hang out. That one's done too. And then we'll let the other ones. Alexa, off. Alexa, set timer for 1 minute. So it gets towards the end.
Starting now.
You just want to add time gradually. So it's easy to always add more time, but if you've gone too far and overcooked it, you can't get it back. Although, you know what? If you overcook your fish, whip up like a really yummy aioli. So you can do like a garlic aioli, a lemon garlic aioli. For this, I would do like a soy sauce, like a spicy mayo would be really good because you want to have some of those Asian flavors. So you could do like a spicy aioli. So do that Kewpie mayo, which is in like the squeeze bottle. It's Kewpie. It's amazing mayo. It's a lot thicker and richer. I think it has more egg yolks to it. And you'll find it usually in the Asian section of the supermarket. And I use it for anytime I make sushi, for Asian dishes. It's so good, even for like just, crab cakes is really good. But get the Kewpie mayo, some sriracha, lime juice, and some cilantro. Chop up the cilantro, good squeeze of lime juice, mix it all together, put it with the salmon, and no one will be the wiser. I've done that plenty of times. Alexa off. Oh yeah, we're so close. I can feel it. We're so close. This is a really thick piece. I think we're just gonna go for like 1 more minute. So if you guys have any questions, I think, you know what? I think the broccolini is done. And this will happen to you. Like if you find the broccolini is done and your salmon needs more time, because maybe you've doubled the recipe and you're making even more salmon. Just take the broccolini off. You can slide the salmon up. There we go. And remove the broccolini and then just keep the salmon cooking. Super easy to do. See, there we go. I think that is done. So it honestly just depends on where you buy your salmon, or like I said, you can do this with halibut, you can do this with cod. There we go. There we go. And then afterwards, I think all we do is we're gonna sprinkle it with a little bit more. Oh yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. We've got to add more. I thought there was more dressing. We've got to add more of the dressing and chopped scallions. I almost forgot. Okay, so we've got some scallions that we've washed. We're going to chop up 2 of them. And then also the recipe does call for like a Fresno chili or like a little red chili. You can do that too. I'm not doing that tonight. You can do a jalapeno if you want like a little heat. And then just thinly slice them. If you want less heat, you can slice them, remove the white pith inside and the seeds, because the white pith and the seeds are what holds all the heat. So you can just remove those. Whoops, I almost lost the scallions. Okay, so we'll sprinkle those over. We'll add the rest of the marinade, and then it's got 1 more minute to go. Spread that around. There we go. Okay. Then back in the oven it will go for another minute, and then we'll be done. Alexa, set timer for 1 minute.
1 minute, starting now.
And we're just having, so this is gonna be our dinner tonight, just the salmon and the broccolini. But if you wanted to make this a little bit, if you have big eaters or hungry people in your family, you can make some sticky rice. I am a huge proponent of a rice cooker. If you do not have one, they're really inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them at Asian supermarkets. They're worth every single penny. You can probably pick one up at Goodwill or Home Goods too. Highly recommend a rice cooker. So you can do rice, you can do jasmine rice or brown rice, you can do sticky rice, you can even do couscous with this if you want to make it like a little bit more like substantial meal. But tonight it's just my daughter and I, so we're good with the salmon broccolini. But if my husband and son were home, I definitely would be making a huge batch of rice, of sticky rice. And I probably would do, when he's home, I usually do 5 cups of rice to 6 cups of water. So I practically fill my entire rice cooker because he's a big eater. Oh my gosh, I really wish you could smell this. Alrighty, I think this is gonna be it. Yep. Oh, it just slides right in. You can tell it slides right in. Oh, yep. Alexa off. Now you can also let it sit for a second. Ooh, that is hot. You let it sit for a second. Should we cut into a piece of it?
Yeah.
I'll show you. All right. You can also tell when it's done if it just flakes off. Oh, look at that. Now, I love fish that is medium rare in the middle. If you want yours more well done, then just add a couple more minutes to it. And I'm gonna take a bite of this. I'm sure it's gonna be super
It's
hot.
hot.
Oh my God, this is so good. Let's get that miso flavor. You've got that wonderful kind of earthy flavor from the miso. You've got a little bit of sweetness from the honey. You've got the tang from the lime juice. It just like makes the perfect pairing. And literally, we have like hardly any cleanup. Like Lexi can even scan the kitchen. Like, this is easy cleanup, right? So who doesn't love an easy dinner to clean up? So I'm gonna serve this up. Dinner is served. Yay! All right, before I sign off, any questions, guys? Alrighty. Thank you so much for coming. If you were here live, thank you for being live. If you're watching the replay, I hope you enjoyed the replay and that you learned how to make this amazing dish that is on the website. Full recipe is on the website at menuforyou.com. You can search sheet pan miso salmon. If you have any questions, you can DM me or send me an email, lisa@menuforyou.com. Links to the cooking class for Friday is in my bio. I'll be back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. with Renee. Okay, I think that was it. Anyway, alrighty, I'm off for dinner. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.